how do you think about allocating capital heading into the bear market?
I'm thinking a lot about this. I'm actually setting up a crypto fund of hedge funds to actually do this. I'm not sure with 2 data points that we know how this one's going to play out. What's interesting is this bull market's playing out identically, as I keep pointing out on Twitter, to past ones. I'm not sure the bear market will work the same way. I'm just not sure because of the arrival of institutions and what's happening and the adoption phase that we're in. I kind of have a feeling it might feel more like this year felt, which is a series of accelerated rallies, a sell-off or sideways consolidation that goes on for a longer period, then another rally. And I think the whole space, and I have no real idea, but I'm just thinking it through, is I just think that everybody expects there to be crypto winter. And when everybody expects something, it's not going to happen. It's different when everybody expects there to be a bull market because everyone allocates capital and it makes it reality. I think because of the different players involved here, I'm not sure that you can afford to take everything off the table and wait and see what happens. So it's going to be a bit more complicated, I think, than we all think. And it's going to probably fuck with our minds a bit. Let's see how it finishes the year. We've all got big expectations, and we're either going to end up with egg on our faces and it's a slow grind higher, and we're all going to be sitting there thinking, okay, well, what changed? And your thesis will be right. Or it just melts up and we're like, okay, it seemed to have worked again. I don't know. It's getting much harder. This end of year is probably the easiest phase we've got. And then after that, it's like the fog comes over because I can't get a clear probability. The most probable outcome is I think that we have a bit of tax-related selling into year end. We have a bunch of people who say the cycle's over because everyone expects December to be the end of the cycle. And then all the institutions come in January because they've just been given new P&Ls and balance sheets, the hedge funds, everybody else, and re-add risk and new allocations. And that creates yet another upcycle that nobody's expecting. It's kind of what I think, but who knows? You know what happens in January? Everyone gets their P&L reset to zero. What are you going to do? If you come back in the office, it's Jan 6th or whatever date you get back, you're going to have to put money to work.
Exactly.
And every hedge fund is going to do the same. And we see this in financial markets always. You get this January, I call it the January effect, but it usually drags on to Jan, Feb, and then you get a reversal. Sometimes it goes to March, but all of the key themes, everyone goes, right, this is the theme for the year. They pile on the risk and everyone gets washed out later on. That kind of feels like, I don't see many hurdles left. Everyone's done a lot of work. We've all done a lot of work. All of us have tried to help as many people as possible. I think it's time. I think that many people will have made the decision this year and will start next year. I think, just speak to Fidelity and Coinbase. I mean, they're all onboarding. Have these people all put their money to work yet? No, but it'll be ongoing. So I think it's happening. I don't see any obstacles. What was really interesting is, I don't know how many, 50, investment banks and asset management firms and presenting about Bitcoin. And then I started getting ones just about Ethereum, which was fascinating. I hadn't seen that before. As people are broadening out in, okay, what else can we do in the space? The other constraint, the real constraint is human capital. It's not enough people who will go and work for an investment bank and trade crypto. So they're having to retool FX people. No disrespect, Sam, but they're having to retool FX people or rates people and get them into crypto and get them to build businesses because nobody can hire enough people. This space is growing so fast. I don't know what the space is up this year, probably 4x. So the whole space is up 4x, but the number of people able to navigate the space is not up anything remotely like that. So you've always got this gap of people. So I think that's the biggest problem of all. Like, some friends of mine run some absolutely enormous hedge funds and they're trying to build a platform out for crypto traders. Can't get any. Just can't get any because people are making enough money on their own with a small amount of capital. It will change over time, but that's the biggest constraint I would say is people now. So I just think this layer, this whole digital asset space, if we go 15 years, is probably 300 plus trillion, maybe even 500 trillion. Sounds a ridiculous number. But it's not because the equities business is 200 trillion. Well, how much of that's going to be on blockchain? All of it. The bond industry, how much of that's going to be on blockchain? Well, the Europeans are already testing it. France have been testing it, and the European Central, not the European Central Bank, whichever one it is, have been testing it. So all bonds are going to be on blockchain. my guess is by that time we'll start to be putting property on blockchain. So blockchain is not like an asset anymore. It is everything. This total disruption of basically all business models this is the biggest opportunity anybody's ever going to be given in their entire lives. And what we're doing right now is fighting over small parts of it. And it just drives me so crazy when the opportunity for everybody is enormous. All of the things we allocate according to how comfortable we are taking the risk. And so it's really straightforward, and it's not any other statement about Bitcoin or anything else. It's just purely about, okay, what am I trying to do? I'm a crypto maximalist. I think this thing is going to consume everything. And I don't really care how it gets there, because my job is not to stay in one community and say, I'm fighting to the death. It's like, no, I want this whole thing to succeed because it's incredibly democratizing. It's incredibly powerful for the world. And there's different opportunities for different people in it. And that's fine. And if you want to dip your toe in the water and you don't really understand the complexities of the space, and it's super complex, go with Bitcoin. I have no issue with that. That's what my sister-in-law, I got her into, because it's easy for her to understand. I mean, I don't see what's so contentious about this. I must admit, I think the most important chart in the world right now is that ETH Bitcoin cross rate. Is that chart
absolutely
is a hell of a wedge pattern. And, I would give that an 80% probability of breaking higher. Now, does that mean anything bad about Bitcoin? No. Just means that ETH is probably going to have a larger bull run upcoming.
This means it's going to go up faster, a little faster. They're both going to go up. One's going to go up a little faster.
That's right.
So now,
and maybe you don't want to take that risk, and that's fine too. I'm not saying you should. You can just stay in Bitcoin. That's okay too. You still make money.
Do you see Bitcoin displacing the US dollar as the global, quote, currency in general, or in the hyper Bitcoinization bucket?
The answer to this is nobody knows, and anybody who thinks they do is lying. Is there a probability of it? Yes. But you've got to get however many countries there are in the world, 190 countries or whatever it is, all to adopt it and concede power when they have guns. I don't know. I'm not adverse to the idea. I can hold the two ideas in my head that we can have hyper Bitcoinization, or we don't. We have a digital currency world. We get the gift of Bitcoin for us to use as an independent money system. I get that too. I don't have a problem not knowing the answer, and I don't need to ascribe to an answer. And the answer is really simple: network adoption. There is only one thing you need to know. Is Bitcoin being adopted, and at what rate, and when does it get to saturation point that everybody in the world owns it? And then it's the number of use cases that it has. It's, people can pontificate all day about their philosophy on why it should be and why they believe in what they believe. It all comes down to the network. Is it adopted or not? And right now, seems to be doing just fine. Will we get to 7 billion people in 20 years? I don't know, but it kind of looks like it might. Does it become, therefore, used as a transactional store of value layer by everybody in the world all the time? Probability is less, because there are other things. Like, if that were the case, then why was gold not always the store of value and the base layer of money? Because politics and nation states and other things. So I don't know. I'm open to it. I get the argument, and I think it's a robust, real argument. We've just never seen anything like it before, so we just don't know. None of us were around when we adopted gold.